No topic in NBA discussion has been hotter over the past week than where LeBron James will play next season, which, considering he turns 41 years old on December 30th, could easily be the last campaign of his already legendary career. James invoked his $56.2 million player option to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers, but that has not quelled the fervent speculation over where James will land. One prominent NBA expert this week proposed an answer: Los Angeles. Or, to be specific, Inglewood, California, because that is where the Los Angeles Clippers play their home games, at the 18,000-seat Inuit Dome, a new arena located in the same complex as the Kia Forum, formerly known as the Great Western Forum, which from its opening in 1967 to the start of the 2001 to 2002 season, was the home of the Lakers. Since 2001, the Lakers have played in downtown Los Angeles at Crypto.com Arena, originally known as the Staples Center. Wild trade proposal sends King James across town. In a wild trade idea, one so wild he admitted that it probably would not happen, media entrepreneur and founder of The Ringer Bill Simmons proposed that the Lakers send James to the Intuit Dome to play for the Los Angeles Clippers. The trade would be a straight-up, two-team, one-for-one deal that brings 34-year-old, 13-year veteran Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers, a team that almost acquired him in 2019. Coming off winning an NBA championship in 2019 with the Toronto Raptors, Leonard was a free agent and received active interest from both of his hometown teams. Leonard grew up in Moreno Valley, a Southern California city about 70 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. But despite the opportunity to team with James and center Anthony Edwards to create a super team, Leonard opted for the Clippers instead. They both get to stay in LA. Little change of scenery for each, Simmons said on the Thursday edition of his Bill Simmons podcast. If you're the Lakers, you get out of this weird LeBron situation. I don't know if it changes your destiny that much, but at least it resets whose team it is. I think the Lakers say no, but that was an interesting one too. Trade idea gets Lakers out of weird situation. The weird situation is that after James exercised his option, his agent Rick Paul spoke to ESPN's Shams Charania, suggesting that James was unhappy that the Lakers were in a developmental stage. James, Paul said, preferred to be in a win-now situation, which is not too surprising for a 41-year-old player seeking a fifth and likely final championship ring. Rob Mahoney, another Ringer NBA podcast host, appeared with Simmons and concurred with the James for Leonard trade idea. James wants to exert a certain level of control over circumstances, as he should, Mahoney said of LeBron. And so you are kind of trading a flawed, caveat star for another one, Mahoney told Simmons on the podcast. It's going to be someone with a contract like Towns, or a player of a really lower caliber like an OG Anunoby, or it's going to be someone like Kawhi with all the questions that come with him. According to the site FanSPO, which automatically analyzes proposed trades to test their compliance with salary cap rules, the one-for-one swap of the two superstars would keep the Lakers $6.9 million under the first apron salary threshold. The Clippers would be $20.4 million under the first apron, making the trade, financially anyway, quite plausible. The Los Angeles Lakers traded for Dorian Finney-Smith last offseason with the hopes that he could stick around for at least a couple of seasons. However, he declined his player option this offseason and decided to sign with the Houston Rockets in free agency. The Rockets have been very active this offseason and are still working out the kinks on the trade that will land them Kevin Durant. There's been talk of it being a 7-team deal, and the Lakers would be involved as a way to get something for Finney Smith. However, according to The Athletic's Fred Katz, Los Angeles might not actually get in on the deal. I've seen lots of outside speculation about the possibility of the Lakers receiving something for Dorian Finney-Smith in a hypothetical sign-in trade, Katz wrote. Unfortunately for LA, there doesn't seem to be any traction on that, and I don't anticipate this reality changing. The reason why the Lakers are having a hard time getting a piece of the action is that the Rockets can sign Finney-Smith straight up without having to do a sign-in trade. Because Clint Capella will come to Houston in a sign-in trade, and thus isn't going into the mid-level exception. The Rockets can use the MLE to sign Finney-Smith straight up, Katz added. And why would they choose to send a player or draft pick to the Lakers when they don't have to? As of now, Finney-Smith is not a part of this 7-team deal. The only players who were in the NBA last season who are part of it today are Capella, Durant, Dillon Brooks, Jalen Green, Daquan Plowden, and David Roddy, league sources say. Why is Finny Smith leaving Lakers? Finny Smith was a perfect fit with the Lakers. He was the kind of three and D-wing the team had been trying to find for years. He's also close friends with star guard Luka Doncic. However, it doesn't sound like contract negotiations went well. According to Zach Lowe of The Ringer, the two sides didn't end in a good place. On Saturday, I said keep an eye on the Finny Smith situation, Lowe said on the Zach Lowe show. That's going to be the tell for me for how the Lakers are thinking about things, cause I heard negotiations were going badly. And I said, will he even opt out? Do the Lakers even want to even pay him? The answer to that turned out to be no, they didn't want to pay him, and he opted out, and I don't think they ended on very good terms either. Is Rob Pelinka's seat getting warmer? Lakers general manager and president of basketball operations Rob Pelinka has been a made man due to his close relationship with team governor Jeannie Buss. However, the Buss family recently agreed to sell the majority ownership of the franchise to Mark Walter. This is Pelinka's first offseason with the news that he's going to have to answer to somebody else, and he hasn't done much. So far, LeBron James has suggested he doesn't want to stay with the Lakers for more than another season. There are rumors of Finny Smith being unhappy with his treatment from Pelinka, and the team hasn't made any big moves of note. Pelinka isn't going to be fired this offseason, but if the Lakers play poorly in 2025-26, Walter has proven that he's quick to make bold moves, especially in the front office. The Los Angeles Lakers always find a way to stay in the news. Then again, the same can be said about LeBron James. Most NBA observers figured the Lakers would undergo a fairly predictable offseason. Armed with two megastars in Luka Doncic and James, the plan for Los Angeles all along was to snag a starting center. The Lakers have done that by signing DeAndre Ayton, but suddenly, a much more pressing issue has arisen. James might be on his way out of town. In the hours after James picked up his $52.6 million player option for 2025-26, James' agent, Clutch Sports Group's Rich Paul, released the following odd statement, per The Athletic. LeBron knows the Lakers are building for the future, and he also wants to compete for championships. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with the Lakers. Not surprisingly, the NBA media universe erupted with speculation in response to Paul's cryptic remarks. Trade machines went wild, and The Athletic's Fred Katz even proposed 5 potential landing spots for James. Among Katz's fits for James? The New York Knicks. Katz argued that while the Knicks could construct various types of offers for James, a straight-up swap for Karl Anthony Towns would make the most sense. New York owes Towns $110 million over the next 2 seasons, Katz wrote. The 5-time All-Star has a $61 million player option for 2027-28. Meanwhile, the Knicks are at risk of climbing into the second apron next season. James could double as a basketball fit, as well as a giant expiring contract to avoid the second apron in 2026-27 and maybe beyond. In Los Angeles, Towns and Doncic could destroy any defense they face. There would surely be downsides to this deal for the Knicks. Not only would they be left thin at center, Mitchell Robinson's health is never certain, but New York's timeline would be out of whack by acquiring a player, James, who will turn 41 in December. Ultimately, these factors make a LeBron to New York trade unlikely. The Knicks are made up of prime-aged contributors, Katz continued. This trade would make them older, a James trade to the Knicks, even in a world where both he and the Lakers agree it's best for the two to part ways after 7 years. Isn't likely. The Knicks didn't get in on the hunt for Kevin Durant. Like so many others, they could be saving up salary and assets for a guy in Milwaukee. The most likely outcome for James is a return to the Lakers. But this recent media circus, spawned by James and Paul, shows just how media-savvy James has become during his time in Hollywood.